All right. Looks like one of you are out there. Can you guys hear me okay? Testing, testing. One, two. You guys hear me at all? Microphone? Doing this from my phone. I don't do too many live streams, but I figured why not spice things up a little bit? So, getting things set up here for just a fun little reveal and a topic that has excited me kind of as I've noticed some swinging shifts within the collecting market. So, seconds here. And why don't you I hit my phone? Cool. Hey, how are things in Michigan? Can you hear me okay? Hey, all right. Yeah, it might be. It's from my phone. Don't have a in microphone I normally use. It's not like a bandwidth issue or not. Does it sound any better or does any experiences before I dive into this? Not bad. Son of a. All right, let me try one thing while we're in here. I'm gonna try to get into my phone settings. Make sure that, okay, I'm connected to the Wi-Fi right now. I'm gonna try is disconnecting from. All right, how about now? Does it make any difference? How's the sound at this point? I switched over to just straight up out of the phone, no Wi-Fi. Better? Appreciate it, Junior. All right, so with that said, kind of starting from the top here. Appreciate that, guys. So, oh, my phone's going to be vibrating intermediately throughout this because I'm getting messages on here. But check it out. So, a surprise Seiko, and I think we all can kind of remember going back to a couple years ago. Everybody was just crazy for the SKX, right? We all love the SKX. It was something that was aspirational, but still very attainable. You could wear it, you could buy it new, and you could wear it and like not worry about it, and you could put your own patina on it, right? It was kind of like, I guess, the fantasy of like guys who started collecting, let's say, Submariners in the 90s when they were really, really attainable. They could buy them, wear them, and really use them the way they were meant to be used. And then that kind of happened for Seiko as well with the SKX 007 and 009, which I thought was really great. Okay, so now the picture broke up. So darn. So it reconnected me. It looks like disconnected me. So it sounds like the sound is better when I'm streaming with 5G. Now there's buffering. All right, so maybe I need to go back onto the Wi-Fi and see if maybe it'll be a little bit better now. Okay, so I'm back on the Wi-Fi now. It should be reconnecting. Is the sound kind of wonky again, or is it better? Yay or nay? All right. Well, until I hear otherwise, I'm going to assume that technology is working again. So, oh, perfect, perfect. So we're back on Wi-Fi. So yeah, I wanted to kind of share something. Appreciate it. I wanted to share something with you guys that is really trending within the market, but it's very quietly trending. So they're becoming a lot more scarce. And going back to the Seiko SKX, do you guys remember the times when the 007 was like you wanted the J1 versus the K1, and people were paying a premium for the made in Japan models, especially if it had made in Japan on the dial. So the cool thing is I've actually been tracking a particular model and it's been having a lot of the same type of resurgence where people are picking and all that, but we're still in that point, which was like kind of the heyday for the SKX, right when it was blowing up. But right now, it's still at that point to where not everything is is completely overpriced and unattainable. Like now, it doesn't matter where your SKX comes from. If it's a K1 model, it's still going to be worth a lot, right? If as long as it's brand new, new old stock. So, and now if you buy one of those, you're kind of overpaying for something that is technically inferior to the newer watches because it doesn't have, modern technology like a hacking seconds hand or being able to hand wind the movement. You just have to shake it. So what I wanted to share with you guys, I purchased actually from Mark from Long Island Watch, was something that is trending the exact same way right now as I'm looking at the market trends, looking what people are picking up. It's a really cool diver that it was actually, I was inspired by my Slim Turtle, which I put on this sweet Tropic strap, the genuine Tropic strap here. And I got to say, it's definitely worth the upgrade in cost. And so much so that I bought another one for this watch from Mark at Long Island Watches, which I definitely recommend is to purchase them from him because I ended up buying this one from the brand directly, and it had to like come from overseas. It was kind of a pain, and it took really long. So with that said, we have a good amount of people here. Sorry things aren't perfect. It's kind of the nature live stream. I'll absolutely do a dedicated video for this watch and cover some of the topics, but I did want to give you guys a sneak peek. So check it out, guys. Little Seiko sleeve box. Haha. There you have it. Some of you might have seen this coming. Some of you might be thinking, whoa, it's a turtle reissue. Like, what's the big deal? So the SRPE 93, as it's known, is basically the latest iteration of the turtle. And when they updated the case back text from Air Divers to Divers Watch 200, they changed the nomenclature, so it became this SRPE. But one thing that a lot of people haven't realized is they've been sneaky enough to start making these with the made in Japan dials, meaning that these are actually being constructed in Japan. So you're getting, even though this is a more, the nomenclature is an international one, you're getting the made in Japan piece versus before you kind of had to get one that was made for the Japanese market. So Seiko corporate has kind of realized and noticed that in the US market, we really like the made in Japan dial. Before it was more of a personal point of pride where their own internal watches they do the made in Japan. But here now you're getting one you can buy internationally and you can buy it locally. Of course, if you're in the US from Market Long Island Watches, and they're actually going for less than the sticker. This is always since these came reconnecting. So you can still buy these less than retail right now, which pretty actually, if you go online, these, let's say you look for the part number, the SR7, and you look for a J, it'd be above 495 price range. And you can still, you know, you know, things for, or one I absolutely love with the aluminum bezel insert, the nice shield. You get that same here. You get the shield loom pip, so it is did, and you get a strap. Most water worn watch I have in my collection. I have quite a few divers, but that one ends up being the one. But another feature in terms of this watch is that you get the hang tag. So Seiko partnered with Patty. That's something that is very unique, and that if you go into a dive store, if they have a mechanical watch, chances are they're going to have this Seiko. And if you actually look around, you'll find a lot of stories where guys were buying these serious divers, not even watch collectors, as kind of their mechanical dive watch, something that they could go back into with and pass down and just kind of have pretty much suit that exact same use case as the SKX did. Like everybody loved that watch. You could wear it. You didn't have to worry about it. Especially, you hear all these crazy crime stories today. um, so it's essentially a watch that you can wear and be proud of. The design aesthetic is completely unique to Seiko. It is absolutely iconic to Seiko. This is an evolution, of course, of the original 6105, which became eventually, I want to say it's a 6203 and 6206, or no, it was a 6209 and the 6206, I believe. And then that became the 7002 series, which eventually became the SKX. And then they reissued these. So there's like a lot of hardcore Seiko enthusiasts that were thrilled to see this come back and make a resurgence, while a lot of people were just kind of like, oh, well, I mean, I came into this hobby really idolizing the SKX. This felt more of a vintage reissue, right? Versus kind of a modern piece, but it came with all the modern goodies. And honestly, Hardlex has never failed me. I've never scratched or chipped a Hardlex crystal. But when it comes to any other mineral, especially from Orient or Citizen, I absolutely have picked up scratches and chips on those minerals, but something about the Seiko Hardlex mineral, it just comes through. Another thing that picked up here was the Tropic strap from. Hopefully everything's sounding okay and coming through okay. Was also from Mark from Long Island Watch, so a big shout out to him again. I always like to support folks that are really a huge part of the community. And, although Mark is a dealer, he's also a real enthusiast within the market as well. And one of the nice things about these Tropic straps, apart from the fact that they're super soft, honestly, I've tried a lot of Tropic style straps, but I finally tried the real original Tropic strap. And one of the reasons why I was waiting on these is because it was the 22 millimeter length that kind of had the formula perfected, because they have a rolled edge and they had this updated buckle, and I really like that. The original 20 millimeter ones actually had this cut off sharp edge and they had a different buckle. The nice thing is with the newer stock, they actually silently released the rolled edge and updated the buckle. They haven't done a lot around that in terms of advertising, because not it was very select few people that were actually asking for this. A lot of folks were just fine with what they got. So I'm actually purchased this also from Mark from Long Island Watch to pair with this piece here. And you can see it just now, instead of it being this contemporary, hey, this is a professional, tool watch, and which it does, and it absolutely kills, and partnered with Patty, and you can take everything serious. You throw this on there, and all of a sudden now you're tying into something that becomes, a little bit more about um Black in okay, back in blood. All right. Just reading some of the chat comments there. So this looks really great, and it ties in, and now it gives it more of a vintage aesthetic, which is fantastic. And I can absolutely appreciate that, because it gives it more of a timeless feel, and it makes it feel a little bit more collectible. And again, the nice thing is you're paying it for it at a really reasonable price, and you're not paying for that semi okay bracelet, right? The bracelet isn't great. It wasn't great with the SKX either. It wasn't really great with the Turtle reissue. It was probably a little bit more solid, but you put it on something like this, and all of a sudden it's gonna really have some legs to it, and I can appreciate that. And as I look at the market and seeing how things are shifting, I even spoke with chatted with Mark at Long Island about this. I asked him, what his inventory was like, and usually he'd have, upwards of the higher teens, and he was down to like his last two until the next restock, because these have been, kind of been ordered, and kind of having a resurgence of popularity. And I think a lot of it does have to do with a lot of those key reissues like the SPB 143. People are liking that monochromatic, kind of perfect everyday Seiko, as much as we're going crazy for these, really interesting dials with all these textures, and kind of keying in and capitalizing on the grand Seiko marketing of, these amazing textured dials and special editions with like little dolphin footprints in the snow. And I enjoy that stuff too, but there's something about this timeless aesthetic that just, for me, it transcends a little bit more than something that can be a bit gimmicky. Even if it's fun gimmicky, it can still feel gimmicky. There's no gimmick to this, right? Like, this is a Patty partnered watch that doesn't have to have the patty dial. It doesn't have to have any, sun ray or any pop of color. It's just, hey, this is actually a great dive time piece. And when you distill down what Rolex was able to do, with the Explorer, with the Submariner. Really, they just made these tool pieces that were like so good at doing their job as a tool watch that it was a luxury of how reliable they were. It was a luxury because before that, watchmaking was really known, out of, let's say, France and other European countries, where I mean, the stuff was just, it was all about it being kind of dainty and fragile, and the end of your watch's life if you ever dropped it, right? Like, very intricate, very nice, a lot of ornate details, but it was really that tool watch movement. And then you think about the quartz crisis, everything happening with all these mid-tier, upper-tier brands. And then you have a brand like, let's say, Patek or Mars Piguet, who came out with Gerald Genta design, which is right, the Rogue and the Nautilus, and they had never been more successful. So they kind of had a paradigm shift. Watches say, hey, sports watch ability that was did into from that, right? So everything top of mainstream Rolex and now the mainstream Seiko. I think that's why the Seiko has been so successful, and I think that's the SKX is the legend is. But the cool thing is, although it came after the SKX, this particular model, it's tech precursor to the SKX. The model this reissue was the one that predated the 7002 series, which eventually became the SKX 007. So very cool, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. I don't want to ramble too long because I will definitely do full videos. I'll talk about Tropic rubber straps and why they're so great, and why I'm kind of on a kick for these right now. You guys know I'm a big bracelet guy, but Tropic has really kind of turned my head. A lot of it started because I bought that COSC Squall 50 Atmos, and it came with such a nice Tropic style strap. I was like, holy smokes, if this is like the knockoff version of this strap, imagine what the legitimate one is. So finally had to kind of revisit, and I was pleasantly surprised to find that they did update the rolled edge there on the 20 millimeter diameter, as well as update this great hardware, which has the nice two-tone finish, brushed and polished there, which probably is a better look here in terms of being unworn. Give it a quick little wipe. But thank you guys for joining me on this little live stream. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do any of you guys have this piece? Again, cool little trick, guys, in terms of desirability. SRPE 93, and it has the made in Japan dial. So very collectible, and all that great stuff. So I know there's a lot of lag, I guess. 5G isn't doing me right. But it definitely costs less. I want to know how much that watch costs. Yes. So the retail price is 495. I think Market Long on the watch has them for around 370. So check his I'll do another video for this, and I'll like leave links and everything. Of course, nature of the live stream, you can't really type in all that stuff and pre-stage it. So thanks everybody for joining me, and feel free to leave comments on the regular comments for this video. And then if you missed the live chat, and then everybody else, just thank you for this continued support. Got up to 26,000 subscribers, and really want to keep engaging with you guys, keep evolving the platform, and find different ways to kind of chime in and share my thoughts with you guys. So hey, green one, and you love it. Nice. Yeah, the green one is nice. Are you referring to the grenade pattern one that was that with the ceramic? Because that one's pretty cool. And then there's also there's the Willard turtle, which came in a really nice green on green pattern, which was awesome. And it's cool to see those turtles. Oh, great price, man. Nice. And then there was also, I think, the one you might be referring to. Oh, okay, cool, cool, perfect. Yeah, and then I know there was another green one. I think it was similar. They did a mini turtle that had like a green and yellowish gold kind of layout, which was pretty awesome. But grenade, nice, nice. Check out Crafter Blue. They do, if you haven't already, they actually match that frag pattern, the grenade pattern of that dial, and they do it on a strap that has a fitted end link on it, and it has this really I dig that. For me, that's one of those ones where even though it's a limited edition and it has like this particular theme, being a king, king turtle and everything, for me that's still a really wearable everyday piece. It has a nice kind of mellow look to it. Obviously, the green isn't anything too shouty, so very cool. But with that said, guys, I'll leave the video at that, and definitely keep an eye out for the rest of the video. Sorry, for the rest of the week. Once the other videos will post, I'm going to try to get this one for maybe the weekend, address this one, and maybe do an evolution of the turtle video or something like that too. So that could be fun. Also do a battle this Friday coming up between the Omega Sector dial and the Longines sector dial. So that'll be a fun one. Borrowed those watches from the team over at Belmont. So a couple more sneak peeks there to reward you guys for tuning in. Thanks again, and have a great one.